What's up, everybody? Justin here, back with a tribute show. I don't like doing these tribute shows. I really don't. Look, I love pro wrestling and I can talk about pro wrestling all day long, just about on my channel, but I don't like talking about wrestlers' deaths or people that were in wrestling. I don't like talking about them dying. I don't. But it has to be done. I gotta do a tribute and pay my respects to one of the greatest ring announcers in wrestling history. The greatest ring announcer ever, in my opinion, in my lifetime, to ever call wrestling, pro wrestling, as a ring announcer. This guy was the best of all time in my lifetime. Growing up, he was there. He did it before I was born. He was there when I was a child. In my childhood, he was still doing it in my teenage years, and he was still doing it when I was in my 20s. He still did it a little bit when I got into my 30s. So, who am I talking about? The late, great Howard Finkel. Howard Finkel sadly has passed away. Passed away today, April 16th, 2020. Very sad to hear it. He did have health problems the last few years. He did have a stroke, a very bad stroke, I think about a year ago, and he didn't really recover from it. So this is my tribute show to Howard Finkel, the late great ring announcer for the WWF and the WWF and the WWE. Howard Finkel was born on June 7th, 1950 in Newark, New Jersey. I apologize if I said it wrong. Again, he was born June 7th, 1950 in New Jersey. He made his wrestling debut as a ring announcer in 1975. He was the first ever employee hired by Vince McMahon in the WWF. The first ever employee of the WWF under Vince McMahon Jr. after he took over and bought out his father. So he's the very first WWF employee. He is also responsible. He was, by the way, the first employee. He was hired on April 1st, 1980. I think by Vince Sr. he was hired by him full time, but went to work for Vince, I think, in 1980. Or whenever Vince took over. 83, I don't remember. I'm talking about Vince Jr. He's responsible. Howard Finkel, maybe you didn't know this, he is responsible for naming WrestleMania. He gave WrestleMania their name. That's a great name. It's pretty damn awesome. Howard Finkel is responsible for WrestleMania, the name. He named the event WrestleMania. I think Vince asked him, or suggested to him or other people that worked for Vince, and he asked people, and Howard Finkel said, WrestleMania, why don't you call it? Great, just iconic, great name for a wrestling event, WrestleMania. So Howard Finkel appeared also. He appeared at WrestleManias. The very first one, 1985, Howard Finkel appeared at WrestleMania events from 1985 to 2016. What a fucking career. What a run. You want to talk about a streak? Howard Finkel had one of the greatest streaks in the WWE, WWF's history of their company. That guy never missed an event. He never missed a pay-per-view, never missed a show. Never missed a WrestleMania from 85 to 2016. That is absolutely insane. What a streak that is. I don't think another ring announcer will last in the WWE for 28 years doing WrestleManias. So he did get in the ring a little bit. He had I think 2 matches, maybe more, but he had 2 matches. They were against one of them was against a SmackDown ring announcer, Tony Chimel. He had a match against Tony Chimel. I think it was a tuxedo match. And he had another match, I think it was a tuxedo match, against Harvey Whippleman, I believe on Raw in 1994. Or maybe 93 or 95. But Howard Finkel did wrestle in 2 matches. I think they were both tuxedo matches. So anyways, Howard Finkel, as I continue this tribute, more facts about what he did in his career. Howard Finkel was inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009. That was awesome. I'm glad he got to be inducted when he wasn't real sick yet or gone already. Sadly, a lot of guys like Vader, Davey Boy Smith, Owen Hart, Brian Pillman, they are not here and won't be here for their induction when they go in the Hall of Fame. So, other new info, not news, but about Howard Finkel's career. To me, the guy was my favorite wrestling ring announcer. He just was my favorite. His style, how he announced, it was awesome. Just the passion he did in his voice and how he would announce new WWF champions. It was just fantastic, great. Howard Finkel, as a ring announcer, always did his job to perfection. The guy was a true professional, a true company man. He was fucking loyal as hell. Super loyal to Vince McMahon in WWF. He was just super loyal. He didn't just work as a ring announcer. He worked backstage a lot, helping out the talent, doing whatever he could to help the company. I believe he worked for back in the 80s, early 90s. I think he even worked with Coliseum Home Video for the home video releases. He did voice-over work for the company. He did video game work, voice-over work for video games. He did a ton. He kind of retired after, I would say, 2010. He wasn't full-time anymore, really, as a ring announcer. But he did appear at an old school Raw on November 15th, 2010. He also appeared on NXT to announce Seth Rollins as the new first ever NXT champion. He also would announce all the WWE Hall of Famers at WrestleMania when they would come out and wave to the crowd. He would always announce the Hall of Famers at WrestleMania. I believe the final year he did that was 2017, I think. I might be wrong. Maybe he did it in 2018 and 19 also. Just Howard Finkel, the guy was just so great as a ring announcer. Super nice guy also. The wrestling world on Twitter, former wrestlers, current wrestlers, a lot of them brought up Howard Finkel and talked about what a great guy he was. And he was always nice to them, or would always talk to them, help them out. I'll be right back in a second. So I'm back with my Howard Finkel tribute. The guy came back and announced and was a part of the SmackDown episode Blast from the Past, April 10th, 2012. He announced he was CM Punk's personal ring announcer. He announced at Survivor Series 2011 for CM Punk's entrance. He was a part of WWE Network's, one of their very first big shows, like reality shows on the network in 2014. He was part of WWE Legends House. And I actually forgot he was on there. I haven't watched Legends House since 2014, but I really enjoyed it. And I don't remember the Fink a part of it that much. I think he was on every episode, but I don't really remember him that much. Sadly, on Legends House, I only remember Mean Gene, Piper, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Tony Atlas getting in an argument like they were about to fight. That was pretty damn funny. I remember the girl that was in it. She's like, I guess the host of Legends House, or she like would come in their house and announce the activities they were gonna do. She was very attractive. Her name was Ashley, I think. So he was on Legends House. That's very cool. I'm gonna have to probably watch Legends House again to see what Howard Finkel was up to in the Legends House. Just sadly, he passed away at 69 years old, again on April 16th, today, 2020. He had a stroke about a year ago, and he didn't recover. He was in not good health. Tommy Dreamer put out a really nice tweet in tribute to Howard Finkel. He had a picture with him, and Tommy Dreamer said he was heartbroken that he would visit Howard Finkel, I think, every month. He would check in on him. I don't know how many wrestlers checked in on Howard Finkel in person, but Howard Finkel probably lived in New Jersey near Tommy Dreamer. So that's very awesome that Tommy Dreamer was visiting him every month. That was very, very cool of him. Tommy Dreamer's a great guy. I hope Howard Finkel got a lot of phone calls from a lot of past older wrestlers, newer wrestlers. I hope a lot of people in wrestling, I hope reached out to him before he passed to just let him know they cared about him and they were thinking of him, and that their thoughts were with him and that they were praying for him. Just very sad. Howard Finkel has passed away at the age of 69 years old. Again, I'm going to say it, he was my favorite wrestling ring announcer of all time. I grew up watching WWF. I became a fan of pro wrestling because of WWF. And just getting hooked on it from guys like Hogan, Macho Man, Demolition, guys like that. Jake the Snake, Andre the Giant. I mean, what the era I grew up on, all the guys were larger than life. They were like truly like superheroes to me. And Howard Finkel, the guy was a part of my life, part of my childhood, teenage years, into my 20s, even into my early 30s. He was always there. His voice, his legendary ring announcing voice. I can't do it justice, but I'll try. When he would announce new champions, he would go, "And new WWF champion." Stuff like that, man. His announcements were great. When he would announce a new champion, it was awesome. Thank God for WWE Network. Howard Finkel's voice, the Fink, his voice will live on there forever and ever. Go back, watch some of old pay-per-views, old WrestleManias he was a part of. He was one of the greatest ring announcers, not one of. He was the greatest wrestling ring announcer of all time. Rest in peace, Howard Finkel.